Hi everyone and welcome back for another video of Inquisitive Thinking. This is part 1 of 3-part series in which we are going to talk about quadratic polynomials, different form of quadratic polynomials apart from standard form, and parabola and its special points. So in part 1 we are going to talk about parabola and its special points. For that purpose, let us revise a little bit about quadratic polynomials. Question is, what is a quadratic polynomial? Now remember, we are only talking about single variable quadratic polynomial or univariate quadratic polynomials. Any second degree polynomial is called a quadratic polynomial. Second degree means highest exponent of the variable in the polynomial is 2. For example, x square or 15v square plus 6 or minus 6 plus 5t plus 8t square. First example is actually the most simplest quadratic polynomial, that is x square. This polynomial is in variable x. Second, 15v square plus 6 is in variable v. Third is minus 6 plus 5t plus 8t square is a quadratic polynomial in variable t. Now we know the standard form of a quadratic polynomial, that is ax square plus bx plus c. Here it is represented by p of x. A, b and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. If a was equal to 0, the polynomial would become bx plus c, which is a linear polynomial, not a quadratic one. Now there is no such restrictions on the values of b and c. Now let's talk about the graphical representation of a quadratic polynomial. Graphically, a quadratic polynomial is represented by a parabola. Parabola is approximately a U-shaped curve in the Cartesian plane, and every unique quadratic polynomial is represented uniquely by a parabola. Now what we'll do, we'll graph a quadratic polynomial. For that purpose, let us take p of x is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6 as the given polynomial. So in order to plot the graph in Cartesian plane, that is xy plane, we'll take p of x equal to y and we'll get the equation y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6. Here x is an independent variable whereas y is a dependent variable. Value of y depends or is dependent on value of x. We all know that. Along with this, there are some operations on the right hand side of this equation. This is the equation and this is the right hand side of the equation. We can see some operations on the right hand side of this equation involving the variable x. Following these operations, we will get the value of y for a specific value of x. For any value of x that you plug in the right hand side, you will get a corresponding value of y. Now we can say that right hand side is acting as a rule that is applied on the value of x, which will give us the value of y. Now what does this rule says? We can get the value of y by squaring x, then adding 5 times x, and then finally adding 6. So this is the rule that the value of x must follow so that we can get a corresponding value of y. Now we are interested in plotting the graph of y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6. So here is a table of values of different pair of x and y. Minus 3, 0, minus 2, 0, minus 1, 2, 0, 6 and 1, 12. All of these pairs of x and y satisfy this equation right over here. Now let us plot these points in a Cartesian plane. So we have got 5 points over here and we have plotted all of these 5 points in a Cartesian plane. But if I join these points, they are not at all resembling a parabola. So for that purpose, I am going to introduce more values of x and y, or you can say more pair of x and y. So now I have introduced some more points in the table and correspondingly plotted on the Cartesian plane. You can see the resemblance to a parabola is more than the first table. So following this pattern, I am going to add some more points in this table and I'll plot them in this Cartesian plane. And after that we'll see what happens. So I have added some more pair of x and y, and don't worry, you don't have to calculate all of these values. After plotting these values of x and y on the Cartesian plane, I am getting points like this, and you can see that after you roughly join these points together, you will get a curve which closely resemble a parabola. We know that there are infinite pair of x and y that can satisfy this equation, and after plotting all of those infinite points together, we'll get something like this. Now this curve is called a parabola. parabola is a locus of all the points that satisfy the given relation. The given relation in this case is y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6. Now we are seeing a new term over here that is called locus. What is a locus? Locus is a collection of all the points in the form of x and y which satisfies a relation. So in this case, the relation that a point x comma y must satisfy is the following equation. Y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6. Usually it forms a curve or a surface depending upon the condition to be satisfied. Just to give you an intuitive feeling of what is locus, I'm going to show you a little animation over here. So we know that collection of all the points x and y which satisfies the relation, which is here an equation, is called the locus of all the points. Alright. So in this animation, we'll see a point named A. Now the movement of point A is subjected to a rule that at any given moment, the x and y coordinates of point A must satisfy this equation. Y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6, which is the equation that we are dealing with right now. So let's start this animation. You'll see that point A is moving in such a way that right now its path closely resembles a parabola. At any given moment, the x and y coordinates of point A are satisfying this equation. That is why the path that point A is traveling is resembling a parabola. So collection of all these points together here is satisfying a particular relation, that is y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 6. So we can say that the corresponding parabola is the locus of all the points that are satisfying this particular equation. Now, special points on a parabola. Even though there are infinite points in the form of x and y on a parabola, there are some points which are special and strikes the eye at the first glance on the given parabola. For this purpose, let us look at the graph of y is equal to x square plus 8x plus 12. So here is the graph of y is equal to x square plus 8x plus 12. Now before I start explaining, can you identify those points which are striking your eyes at the first glance? These points are called special points. So here I have located 4 points A, B, C and D. And here are the coordinates of these points. Point A and B are called the x-intercepts of the parabola, A and B. Point C is called the y-intercept of the parabola. Point C is over here. And point D is called the vertex of the parabola. Point D is over here. Now let's talk about the x-intercepts of a parabola. But remember, x-intercepts only form in case of real roots. So point or points where parabola intersects or touches x-axis are called the intercepts of the parabola. Point or points where equation y is equal to 0 is satisfied. It means those points where value of y is 0 are the x-intercepts of the parabola. Value of y 0 means points which are located on x-axis. So here point A is located at minus 6, 0 and point B is located at minus 2, 0. Graphically, x-intercepts gives the real roots of the quadratic equations y is equal to 0. So when you write x square plus 8x plus 12 is equal to 0, that is a quadratic equation, you'll get two real roots, that is x is equal to minus 6 and x is equal to minus 2. So graphically, x-intercepts give the real roots of the quadratic equation y is equal to 0. Now there may be two intercepts or one intercept or no intercept at all. In case of only one intercept, parabola is touching x-axis at only one point, making two equal real roots of equation y is equal to 0. And when there are no x-intercepts, parabola does not intersect or touch x-axis, thus no real roots. Now let's talk about y-intercept of a parabola. In this case, y-intercept is at point C is equal to 0, 12. This is the point where parabola intersects y-axis. It is the point where equation x is equal to 0 is satisfied. Evidently, the coordinates of C are 0, 12, showing that the y-intercept lies on the y-axis where x is equal to 0. For an equation y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, the y-intercept is always equal to c. How can we say that? Simply put the value of x equal to 0. In this equation, the terms ax square and bx will vanish, leaving only plus c behind. We can also say that distance of y-intercept from x-axis is equal to c units. Doesn't matter if the y-intercept is above or below the x-axis. Now let us talk about vertex of a parabola. We know that for y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, a is called the leading coefficient. And for a greater than 0, it means when a is positive, parabola opens upward, which is in this case, here a is equal to 1, so parabola is opening upwards. And for a less than 0, it means when a is negative, parabola opens downwards. So a parabola always has a lowest or a highest point on it. Lowest when a is greater than 0. A is greater than 0 means parabola opens upwards. So there is always a lowest point on the parabola, or the highest point when a is less than 0. When the parabola is opening downwards. So there is always going to be a highest point on the parabola when a is less than 0. Such a point on parabola is called the vertex of that parabola. The highest or the lowest point on the parabola is called the vertex of that parabola. In this case, point D indicates the vertex of this parabola, whose coordinates are -4, -4. Now one more thing that you can notice is that parabola changes its direction at its vertex. So how do we say that parabola changes its direction at its vertex? If you travel from left to right, means from negative x-axis towards positive x-axis, you'll see that parabola is decreasing up to a point beyond which it starts increasing. So there must be a point beyond which the parabola changes its direction. This point is called the vertex. Again, if you travel from right to left, you'll see that first the parabola is decreasing and a point comes beyond which it starts increasing again. It means this is the point where parabola again has changed its direction. So this point is called the vertex of this parabola, beyond which the parabola changes its direction. Now since we have talked about vertex of a parabola, one more thing is left to discuss about, which is called the axis of symmetry. It's pretty obvious that parabola is a symmetric curve. You can see that it is a very symmetric curve. So the next question that comes to mind is about what? Precisely asking about which axis a parabola is symmetrical. Now remember, an axis is an imaginary line which in this case divides parabola into two equal halves. Such an axis is called the axis of symmetry of the parabola. The axis or the imaginary line which divides the parabola into two equal halves is called the axis of symmetry, about which the parabola is symmetrical. So this is the axis of symmetry which divides the given parabola into two equal halves, as you can see, which is indicated with this orange dashed line over here. Just like any other line, axis of symmetry also has an equation, which in this case is x is equal to -4. As you can see, this axis of symmetry is perpendicular to x-axis and is passing through the vertex. In fact, the x coordinate of the vertex is the equation of the axis of a parabola. So coincidentally, x and y coordinates of the vertex over here are both equal to -4, but only the x coordinate of the vertex is the equation of the axis of parabola. In this case, x coordinate is equal to -4. So the axis of parabola has an equation x is equal to -4, which shows that this axis is perpendicular to x-axis and parallel to y-axis and passing through -4 at x-axis. So with this we have ended today's video. What did we learn today? What is a parabola? Locus of a parabola, x-intercept or intercepts of a parabola, y-intercept of a parabola, vertex of a parabola, and axis of symmetry of a parabola. In part 2, we'll talk about standard and intercept form of a quadratic polynomial. So thank you for watching today's video. Share it with your friends, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, you can subscribe to it, watch out the other content that I've put on. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe, and most importantly, stay inquisitive. I'll meet you in part 2.